Hello again, and welcome to another jobless tutorial. This one will be on polishing, exporting and scaling your map so that you can get into Halo Custom Edition. Before continuing this tutorial, I'd like to recommend open source, which I am using for my version of Halo Custom Edition. It is a expansion and enhancer of sorts that will greatly improve the gameplay and quality of Halo Custom Edition, as well as the tools, which we'll be covering later in HEK. It allows larger polygons, better BSPs, better textures, and a numerous amount of other improvements. Anyway, with that said, please download it. It's in the course links. Let's begin. The first step of doing this is to scale it so it's the correct size for the game engine. This will work in the game engine, but chances are it's going to be absolutely tiny, and the biped, the cyborg biped, which is the Master Chief, will probably be standing about this tall inside the BSP, which is no good. So we're going to need to run a script. These are Max scripts. They will run in either Gmax or 3ds Max. In order to run a script, you need to click on the utilities, that camera icon here, and under Max script, go run script. As you can see here, got a numerous amount of scripts here. The two that we'll be using in this tutorial are Chimp, which you should have got with HEK. Please put it in the Gmax and scripts folder. And the same goes for the gearbox model importer, which I believe I have given a link to. That is the one we'll be using. So I'm going to double click on this to load it up. I'm going to load a gearbox model. Now, as you can see here, it's taken me back to the scripts folder, and I've actually copied the gearbox model for the cyborg with the Master Chief into the scripts folder. That's pretty simple to do. You just go into your tags folder in the Halo Custom Edition install directory, into characters, cyborg. I'll show you in fact. So I'm going into my Halo Custom Edition folder. I'm going into the tags folder. Here, I've got probably a lot more tags than you do. I'm going into characters, into cyborg, and I'm copying this file right here. This is the gearbox model folder. It's the model of the Master Chief. I'm copying that and I'm pasting it into here, into a folder I called cyborg. You don't have to do it that way. You can use the long method by going into the Halo Custom Edition directory and copying it every time. I just find it a lot faster to do it this way. So I'm going to go into here and select my cyborg gearbox model. I'm going to untick import all nodes, import all markers, import the UVW map, and set up 3D material library shaders. We do not need those for scaling. I'm just going to import the model. As you can see, although this would work in the game, it's very, very small. So in order to scale it, we simply select the BSP, not the cyborg. And we're going to use this one here, select uniform scale, and just click and drag to increase the scale of the map. So this is a much better scale, I believe now. And to show you the scale, I'm going to then click out of it, double click on the cyborg, and move it so that you can now see the size of the map. So you can see now the map is considerably larger, and the textures have also scaled to the size of the map. I now delete the cyborg. If you're having trouble selecting it, go and select by name and then double click on the box you want. For example, if I still had the cyborg would appear there. I just double click on it. Now I select the cyborg and I can delete it. Okay, that's the first step. The second step is to create the frame. When exporting anything from Gmax or 3ds Max, you'll need a frame. It is sort of the joining object, the way I think of it, that links all the different objects within the BSP or scenery object of whatever it is you're exporting. For example, if you had 3 separate boxes that aren't linked, they would all be linked to the frame. It acts as an anchor of sorts. So now the next step is I'm going to click on this. Well, actually, no, I'm going to name this frame first, so you have to go into name and color and call this frame. It must be called frame in order to work. Then we're simply going to select our BSP. The size of the frame does not matter. We're going to select the link and click and drag from the BSP to the frame, let go, and now it's linked. To make sure it's linked, we then select the arrow to unselect everything. Go into select by name again and select display subtree, which will then show that the box is now joined to the frame. Excellent. Now we simply have to export our map. Depending on how large the map is, the export can take hours or seconds. This one should not take too long because it's a very small map. So we're going to go into our chimp directory, go into this one, and select chimp. Select chimp again here, untick like debug info, select lister window, then export Halo structure. As you can see, it's already exported. So now I simply need to go into my Halo Custom Edition folder. I have made 2 copies of chimp here. If you only have one, then simply go to the copy of chimp you have, double click on it, go into the grab listener, and select grab listener.exe. This next stage where we create the folders that our file is going to be in. So we want to create a new folder in the data/levels folder, and we're going to call this the name that our level is going to be effectively from now on. I'm simply going to call this testbsp1. You may call it whatever it is that you wish to name your map. However, if you wish to upload, make sure the name is original, because non-original names are not accepted. So I'm going to go to testbsp1. I'm going to create a new folder inside that folder called models. I'm going to select into that. I'm going to give this the same name as the folder, testbsp1.jms. Make sure you put .jms at the end, and make sure its save type is as small files. Simply click save now, and you have saved the raw data file for your BSP. That is almost finished the exporting now. The final step we need to go to is select command line. I've made a copy of cmd.exe in my Halo Custom Edition folder. You may wish to do it differently, but that simply means that you'll have to type in the path name to your Halo Custom Edition folder where you have what is known as the tool.exe. I'm using open source tool because I have an open source installed. You will simply type tool. I now go OS tool, whereas you'll simply put tool, levels, structure, levels, /test bsp1 space test bsp1 and hit enter. This may take a while. As you can see, my map has now successfully compiled. If you have errors when compiling, I will be covering some errors in the debugging tutorial. For now, that's this tutorial over.